Oh, testing, see my. All right, so welcome back to the part 6 of our chapter 13, 14 video, in which this time we are going to talk about a very, and not exactly too difficult, but still quite technical topic. We call it externality and market failure. Now, remember, I mentioned, right? I mentioned the condition for market efficiency is when marginal social benefit is the same as the marginal social cost, right? 好啦 sometimes it does not happen, right? Remember, we mentioned sometimes, somehow, our equilibrium is not the same as the efficient point, right? When externality exists, all right? 好嘛? So what happens when there is externality? Somehow private and social cost and benefit would not be the same. I should say marginal. 对不起啊? Marginal. Here also marginal. Okay. 好啦 so what is externality? Externality refers to positive or negative effects brought about by a private action to the external environment. 但係好緊要喎 uncompensated 係冇賠償嗰啲先叫 externality 啊 OK 好嘛 now let's look at two examples. In fact, I think negative externality is easier to explain. All right, now before we talk about the technical things, let's talk about a story 好嘛 the story goes like this. Let's imagine, okay, here in the society there are two people. First, we have Leo Chan. Okay, now this guy Leo Chan. Hold on, Leo Chan 係做咩啊? Now you know Leo Chan, right? Very good at, very bad at one thing, singing. So let's imagine Leo Chan starts singing, and obviously you see, right? 係咪? Those musical notes not being too good. 係嘛? Of course, Leo Chan would be happy because singing brings happiness to Leo Chan, right? What about, let's say, 好啦 next to Leo Chan, 好啦我哋最中意 my favorite student. Let's say I have Ian Wong standing next to me. 好啦咁折墮啦 Ian right here, he somehow 嗱我哋唔好叫 listen 啊 he somehow heard the so-called music and feel very annoyed. 哇 Sir 你唱得好難聽啊咁啊 so you see, right? He's not happy. So what happens is that, you see, this guy privately, okay, privately, they have nothing, right? We have the private cost. Now, but when we talk about socially, two adding together, you see something happen. Because of his private action, the social, okay, the others, they are being negatively affected. Or we say 係咪啊？而家我製造噪音啊嘛 we add to the social cost. Socially, the marginal cost would increase. OK 好嘛？嗱，陣間我哋翻去先講呢啲嘢啦，好嘛？ So you will see what happens is that from a social perspective, OK 嗱 let's see, from a private perspective, do I care? No, I don't care. My decision is only depending on my private cost versus my private benefit. OK? 好啦，但係 socially speaking， 喂，而家 Ian Wong 覺得好難聽喎。So, do the society wants more of Leo Chan singing or less of Leo Chan singing? 唱得好難聽係咪啊？ So, they actually want less of the negative singing. 但係我唔 care 啊嘛。So what does that mean? It means that from a social perspective, we are producing too much. 做得太多咯，咪 overproduction 咯。好嘛？ That's why when there is a negative extent, of course, I have not compensated Ian Wong, right? If I compensate Ian Wong, then nothing happened. 咁啊冇事喎。 如果我 compensate 到 year one 嘅話咧 it will push up my private cost, right? So nothing happens. All right. So remember, negative externality negatively affecting others without compensation. Therefore, from a social perspective, we are making too much. Now, for example, pollution. Okay, pollution is one example. You pollute the environment, but then you did not compensate to the others, so you are bringing up the others' cost. All right, 好嘛，好啦，咁睇下發生咩事啦。So how do we write it? Okay, how to write it systematically? Now, first of all, remember, negative externality would push up our marginal private cost. No, social cost actually. Okay, would be smaller than marginal social cost. 好啦，咁啊，而家唔理啦。Benefit, no effects, right? Now, since our marginal social cost being pushed up, so what happens is that 嗱，一陣間我哋先攞文字寫好唔好啊？ The intuition is this one being pushed up, right? So it would be larger than also the marginal social benefit. 嗱，搞清楚啊 There are two steps. First, externality would push up either social cost or social benefit. Now, depending on the externality, right? Then, second step, because the push up the social, therefore, there will be a divergence when the social cost or benefit will be larger than the private cost or benefit. All right, this is step number one. 好啦。At the same time, since the social one being pushed up, right? So what happens is that when we compare, when we compare the social versus social, the one being pushed up will become too large. 好啦，記住啦 when marginal cost is larger than marginal benefit, we would have an overproduction. Okay, we will have an overproduction. 好啦，既然做咗太多啦 what will be the solution in order to deal with that? Two solutions. First, we can either have a government intervention. 喂，政府可以揸隻手落嚟咯。For example, set up law or use a tax 懲罰佢啊，唔俾佢做咁多啊。You're making too much, right? So I punish you. Or second, we call it market solution. What do? You just compensate. 係嘛 You make that thing, you compensate to the ones being affected. OK， 好啦，咁文字點寫咧？In an essay form, we write it like this. Step number one, we say that now it would negatively affect others. 嗱，但係你唔好漏咗一隻字喎。Without compensation 係喺冇賠償嘅情況之下，對人造成負面影響。OK， 好冇 ？Now next step, therefore there will be a divergence. Divergence between marginal private cost and marginal social cost. 嗱，唔該你寫清楚啊。The divergence stay clearly which one is bigger. 而家你令到人哋覺得好難聽啊嘛，係咪 ？Therefore, marginal social cost would be bigger than marginal private cost. OK， 大過 MPC 啦。All right, now such that 你而家推高咗佢啊嘛。You push up the MSC, right? Such that MSC would be bigger than MSB. So what do we call this? This is an overproduction, i.e. inefficient. Okay? 得唔得？ This is how we write in an essay form. Once we are okay with that, now let's turn to our positive externality. Now, positive externality, right? A lot of situations, for example, free Wi-Fi 嗰啲啦，係咪啊？成日 free ride 人嗰啲啦。So what happens is that those are benefit, right? Positive benefit, right? Therefore, our social benefit would be pushed up to be bigger than marginal private benefit. Cost doesn't change. 好啦 since this guy is pushed up, right? So MSB would be bigger than MSC. 你既然有 benefit 喎 do you want more? Yes, the society wants more. But the private individuals, they didn't receive anything, no compensation. So they're not going to make more, right? The result, there will be an underproduction. Okay, underproduction. How do we solve that? Again, two solutions. First, government, maybe subsidy. Okay, and of course, the market, if they can reach an agreement, then just use compensation. 賠返錢咪得咯，係嘛 compensation. Now, in an essay form, we would say it would positively affect others. 好啦，但係重點字眼喎 remember the keyword is without compensation. 冇賠錢啊嘛而家 OK such that there would be a divergence between marginal private benefit and marginal social benefit. But remember, state clearly, now you do something benefiting the society. So the MSB would be bigger than MPB. 搞錯咗啊！記住第一個 first step, compare social and private. Such that MSB will be greater than MSC from a social perspective. What does that mean? It means it will be an underproduction. Okay, 好唔好啊? So this is the explanation for externality. I know when you look at your textbook, right, they also have some diagram explanation. 但記住啦 diagram in the current syllabus, it's out of syllabus. So you do not need to know how to draw the graphs. Okay, out 咗 C 啦，唔好嘥時間，好唔好？ You just need to know the logic. One more time, 記住啦 in answering these kind of questions, step number 1, you first compare private and social. Okay, then second step, you say, since the social one has been pushed up, right? So the social something would be bigger than the social something. 記唔記得？先對 private 對 social， 之後 social 對 social 㗎，唔好搞錯啊，好嘛？ You need all these steps. Okay, you need all these steps. 好啦，嚟啦噃。Now, remember last time we mentioned there is another way, i.e. the MB versus MC way to explain per unit tax and per unit subsidy, right? Now let's do it again. How? 好啦 tax 先啦 So this is our demand equals to MB, right? 好啦 since we are having a supply decrease, right? Therefore, S1 equals to MC. 嗱，我哋上次係咁寫噶嘛，係咪？ S2 equals to MC plus T, right? This is what we did last time. Now, since you have the idea of private and social, in fact, this would be our MPC. This would be our MSC. Of course, this will be our MSB as well. Why? Why this guy would be our MPC? The thing is simple. This curve shows the production, so-called production cost, 係咪好似啦 of the producer. But social also include the government. 你見到啦 now seems like they lose something, but in fact, this distance can be gained by the government. So if you include the government in the picture, nothing changed. 原來冇嘢變過㗎，好冇？ Now, therefore, the only thing you need to look at is at Q2. What happens? You will see our MSC is right here. MSB is right here. Do you see MSB is actually bigger than MSC, right? Something like that. Okay, now of course, in exam, no need to write this. 嗱，唔使咁寫嘅，MBMC 得噶啦。I just explain using this concept，係嘛？我純粹解俾你聽嘅啫，好嘛？I just explain using this concept。Okay, 好嘛？You see MSB is actually bigger than your MSC, right? Now, therefore, MB equals to MC is right here. 係嘛？ So this will be our dead weight loss. The same applies to our subsidy case. 同樣道理啦。OK， 睇住咯喎。Demands equal MB, then this will be our S1 equals to MC. This will be our S2 equals to MC plus S. Let's call it MC plus S, right? Now, again, you can view this as MSB. This is our MSC. This is our MPC, right? Hold on. The important thing is we are at Q2. At Q2, look, MSC is right here. MSB is right here. Do you see? MSC is bigger than MSB. Of course, S is not needed for examination. 係嘛 I just explain using this concept. 可能你見到啦，咁即係啦，原來帶過去啦，咁 overproduction 咯。This is MB equals MC. So this guy would be our dead weight loss. 係咪易解好多啊 ？Using MB and MC, it is so much easier to explain, right? 係嘛 Now remember, now once we try to shift it back. 好啦，我哋取消咗啦。We cancel the subsidy. Let's say we cancel the subsidy back to here, Q1, right? So what happens? This dead weight loss would decrease, would drop. For the reason, 好啦，考試點寫咧 Because the gap between MB and MC becomes narrower. Therefore, that weight loss would drop. 咁解就得噶啦，好嘛？咁解就得噶啦。Okay, 得唔得？ All right, so let's look at some questions regarding externality. 好啦，第一條先。Here, you have two stakeholders here. You have a beekeeper. Okay, on another hand, there is a farm, orchid farm, 係咪 flower farm. So what happens is that the beekeeper, the bees would go to the farm to pick some honey. And when they pick some honey, they will also do the pollination for the farm, right? So basically, they give some benefit to it, but they also give some benefits back to the beekeeper. So which of the following statement would be correct? 好啦， there would be a divergence between private and social benefit, right? Yes, it may. 其實咧錯啦，呢度已經係咪啊 ？Will is wrong. There may be. 點解啊 ？You give something to them, you also give something back. Do you know which one is bigger? No. You don't know which one is bigger. So you do not know whether honey is overproduced or underproduced, right? 好啦 B should be subsidized 冇 should 嘅 Okay, in economics there's nothing should. Okay, 好啦 C the value of honey is higher than if the value of honey is higher than the value of the fruits, there is no need 係咪又嚟啦 to correct the externality. What is a need, right? 係咪 If the value is bigger, then there would be a divergence. And there would be externality. 賠唔足啊嘛，係咪 Therefore, C is also not correct. 係咪應該有 externality 喎。There would be no divergence if the orchid farm is also owned by the beekeeper. 嗱，好容易嘅啫呢個。嗱，this word is out of syllabus. No need to use it, but still you can use it, right? 好啦 if both of it belongs to you, what happens? 記住啦 divergence between private and social. Now, if you own both, would there be a social cost or benefit? No. We call this internalized. Or if you don't like this word, you can also explain. Basically, if the beekeeper also owned the orchid farm, he would be able to make adjustment according to his private needs，係咪？佢自己睇翻佢嘅 private cost 同埋private benefit 啦，then he would adjust it accordingly, right? So the answer would be D，兩樣都係自己嘅，咁咪冇 externality 咯。OK，好嘛？嗱，this one，哇，93%，可唔可以唔解啊？呢度啦，佢K-pop singer which of the following are their private benefit, right？係咪啊？The royalty money, right? For their benefit, right? The rise in sale for fashion 關唔關事啊 ？No, this is a social cost, right? 好啦 ，number of tourists visiting 關唔關事啊 ？No, not their money, right? Their revenue 1 and 4唔解啦，93%好嘛？Now next one also 81%, which is the following way to lessen the problem between private and social costs 得唔得？佢講緊 costs, which means we are talking about a negative externality 得唔得？佢講緊 negative externality 噶 meaning there is an overproduction。好啦，咁我哋要懲罰翻 overproduction 啦。OK，for example sewage charge right to reduce what pollution 咯，pollution which is a negative externality. Yes，好啦，collect fee no this is a for service。喂，呢個真係 for service 嘅啫嘛，關你鬼事啊 ？OK，so irrelevant。OK，a levy on plastic bag yes 係咪啊 ？Reduce pollution again。Charge on electricity，喂，咁呢個真係買 service 噶嘛 ？This is for buying service, right? So 1 and 4。嗱，you see right 81%。嗱，我唔解咁多啦，呢啲應該容易嘅。好啦，嗱 next one。2015, now this time only 45%, right? Which of the following is an example of divergence that you your externality now, right? Now, a security guard watches live concert, which he is working in a concert hall. Seems like externality, but the thing is, he is working, meaning he would receive money. Make money, yeah? Compensation, no? His wages already included the compensation. So A, not the answer. B, enjoys the music performance and he does not pay. 即係咩意思啊 ？Without compensation 咯。Therefore, B is the answer that we want. OK， 好啦，C 啦，private benefit 睇先。Resident living next to a karaoke cannot fall asleep because of the noise, right? The thing is, noise is a negative externality. Now we are talking about private and social benefits. Positive externality. OK， 所以 C 唔啱啦。And D, after the removal of the airport, the market value increases. 咩叫 market value 啊 ？Market value meaning there would be transaction. Transaction 啲咩意思啊 ？There would be money. When there is money, there is compensation. 賠咗噶啦 ，OK， 好唔好啊 ？So no externality in this case. 好啦。Recently, the UAV 係咪啊？嗰啲 drones, right, causing noise and safety concern. So the department is considering regulating. All right, this is an example. 好啦 noise and those kind of thing. This is a negative externality, right? So there will be a private and social costs. 係咪？唔係 benefit 啦。And the department is considering, meaning this is a government solution. 係咪？差3%啱啦，唔難嘅，唔嘥時間。好啦 ，next one， 嗱 this is quite funny, right？ 好嘛 ，the screaming child tax 係嘛 ？Those cafe sometimes you know, right? You bring in the children， 你見到隔離啦個仔啦喺度尖叫嘅 ，right？ 可能你溝緊女 ，when you are happily with your girl, suddenly someone screaming beside you。咁你都掃興啦，係咪啊 ？So the cafe say right now, whoever brings in children screaming I will have a tax on you, surcharge basically, right? 好嘛，好 with reference, which of the following statement is correct, right? You see, children screaming result in negative externality. Yes, true. And all cafes should. 好啦，記住啦 whenever you see in economics, should is a big question mark. 我點知佢 should 唔 should 啊？ This is a normative, not positive, right? 係嘛？我點知佢 should 唔 should 啊？ All right? The extra charge on screaming increase the marginal private cost of the groups with the screaming children, right? 係咪 increase 佢嘅 marginal 嗱？係咪有啲難啊？呢個 increase the marginal private cost of the groups with the screaming children, right? Seems like correct， 但係啦，唔係好睇得明，唔緊要嘅。Let's go to both C and D. Screaming children tax is a government solution to the divergence between private and social. Remember, according to the source, this is an own cafe. 係咪 government 嚟㗎？ No, this is not by the government. This is a market solution. 啲人自己諗出嚟㗎。So not C. Screaming children tax is a kind of discrimination and should. 關你鬼事啊？Econ 講 should 嘅咩 ？Therefore, answer yes, you were right. B, it would increase the marginal private cost 係咪？因為頭先啊，我哋話啦 ，negative externality, we know that MSC will be bigger than MPC, right? So how to correct that? To correct that, you make that increase so that finally MSC will be the same as MPC, and they will stop doing that, or they would stop overdoing it. 佢未必會停止㗎。They only do less, such that there is no divergence. 嗱，唔好搞錯啊 ！It will not stop. It doesn't stop this thing. Okay? It only reduce it to a level without externality 咋，得唔得？佢只係降翻低佢咋 ，without divergence, without externality, right? It doesn't stop it. 佢仍然會繼續做㗎，好嘛 ？Alright now, here let's look at some short questions. How we write the answer. 好啦，小心啲啦。Here, individual visit scheme 嗰啲自由行啊，好嘛 ？Has brought economic benefits. However, more and more have called on to reduce the number. 好啦，佢講咩啊 ？Some residents complain the large number overloaded the public transportation, resulting in large increase in travel time. 係咪？佢講明啦 ，now their time cost would increase, right? 係咪啊？好啦 ，explain in terms of externality why inefficiency may exist when the transportation system。好啦，我哋講啦。Step number one, you should say right, this overcrowding would increase other people's time cost。嗱，但係未完嘅噃，你記住要寫喎。The keyword without compensation， 你冇賠錢嘅情況之下加大咗人哋啊嘛。Therefore, there would be a divergence between MPC and MSC。嗱，但係唔該寫清楚啲啦。What is the divergence here? MSC being greater than MPC. Okay. Now, since MSC is being pushed up, right, such that at the output level, you will see MSC will be bigger than MSB. What do we call this? We call this overproduction. Overproduction meaning inefficient. Okay, 得唔得？ Without compensation. So it will push up the social cost and have a divergence bigger than private. And at the same time, MSC would be bigger than MSB, resulting in overproduction. OK， 呢個我哋咁寫啦，好嘛？嗱，記住喎 ，don't just say it has a negative impact. You need to specify what is the negative impact. The negative impact increase time cost，好嘛？好啦。 Now, so for the next question, right? Love to take photos, and do some high-end restaurant do not allow them to take photo. Explain how it may involve externality，係咪？有機會有 externality 喎？點解啊？嗱，there are two ways to answer that. In fact, first, according to the question, high-end restaurants do not allow. Why? You can answer in negative externality，但係唔好講 negatively affect 喎。Be specific. Photo taking may annoy others，騷擾到隔離嗰個嘛？但係夠唔夠啊？唔夠。Without compensation。OK， 好啦，跟住之後你自己寫啦，我唔寫啦，抄翻落嚟啦，好嘛？嗱，你要 specify 噶。In exam, specify what is the negative impact or negative effect。LS 上身添，好嘛？我哋就 don't just say negatively affect. Tell me how annoy the others. Is there other way to answer that? Yes. What about positive externality? 有冇正面效果啊？ Yes. The photo taking act as a free advertisement。我幫你影相擺上網，po咗人哋覺得好靚喎，哇 ，looks good. Next time I go there, this is a free marketing, free advertisement, but without compensation. Okay， 好唔好啊？ So what do you write? Again, there is a divergence. Specify it is MSB bigger than MPB such that 又嚟啦 such that the MSB would be bigger than MSC, and we call this underproduction. OK， 好唔好啊？嗱，嚟多次啦。The important thing is you need to specify what is the positive effect, what is the negative effect. Don't just say positively affecting. No. OK， 寫清楚啊。好啦，下一版啦，唔講啦。OK, final page, and we will call an end for this long video. All right, 好啦，睇住啦。Pokemon Go is a popular game, 係咪？ Move around. Developer has placed hotspot in different area, attracted the game together, right? Some restaurants somehow found that their business sharply increased, okay, as they are located near the hotspot, right? Based on the above information, what kind of externality, how the placing of the hotspot may result in inefficiency, right? 哇，呢個容易啦，係咪啊？佢講明啦 ，sharply increase their business. So this is a positive externality. 好啦，望望啦，點寫啦 ？OK。What is the positive effect here? It enhances the business, 係咪啊？ But the business owners, what do? They did not compensate the developer, 係咪？好啦，跟住下面嗰啲自己寫啦，我唔講啦，好嘛？result in a divergence, those kind of thing， 唔講啦。such that the MSB would be greater than MSC under production， 唔講啦，好嘛？呢個唔講啦。OK， 唔講啦。Now, how may such a problem be relieved by the market？ 你唔好同我講 subsidy 啊。Don't tell me the government can give subsidy。我打到你變 subsidy 啊。No, market, not government. Okay, 得唔得？ So what is the market solution? Easy. The business owner, 係嘛？ What do? They pay the developer, or the developer charge the business owner, right? 好嘛？唔講啦。好啦，呢條難少少啦。流感 vaccination 係咪 very related to what we have here? Explain why the provision of subsidy may improve. 嗱，睇住啊，佢講明 now is a subsidy that will improve efficiency. So let's do some reverse engineering, right? 好嘛？ Here, subsidy encourage production, right? Subsidy would encourage production, or it actually push up the MPB， 係咪？其實佢係將個 private benefit 推高翻啫嘛，係咪啊？To solve underproduction， 係咪？其實佢而家係 encourage 佢做呢樣嘢啫嘛。To solve underproduction, right? So, what is underproduction? Underproduction, when would it result? When there is a positive externality. 喂，冇乜識添啊，攞第二隻識先。Here, we know that, right? Underproduction. What is underproduction? Such that MSB greater than MSC, i.e. underproduction. Why would MSB be bigger than MSC? Because there is a divergence between MSB and MPB, right? Divergence. In our case, it would be MSB bigger than MPB. 大個 private benefit 啊嘛，係嘛？ When would this result? It's because vaccination would benefit others by preventing infection. 係咪？喂，你搞到人哋唔會感染到嘛？但係重點就係咩啊？ Without compensation， 你冇賠錢俾邊個啊？ Without compensating the vaccine producer， 你冇賠錢俾佢，佢梗係唔做咁多疫苗啦，係咪啊？ Therefore, the private benefit of the vaccine producer is not as high as the social benefit. 佢梗係唔做啦。So now you push up the MPB 係咪啊 of the vaccine producer 係嘛？你叫做多啲咯，咁咪多啲人受惠咯。OK？好嘛？ So this is how we do this kind of question. Sometimes if you're not sure about the answer, do reverse engineering. Reverse engineer the answer and you will get the correct answer. All right. And with that said, this is all I have to say for externality. For our last video, we are turning into full LS mode, liberal study, because next we are going to talk about equity. And when it comes to equity, it is super LS kind of blowing water. All right. So until then, I will see you again in our next video. All right. Bye bye.